You good? You've got your tea in your Harry Potter mug. Is that Gryffindor?
Go Gryffindor. Although I'm technically a Hufflepuff, but whatever.
Is that allowed? Are you allowed to drink out of a Gryffindor mug if you're a Hufflepuff?
I mean, like, I'd like Gryffindor to stop me, to be honest.
Good evening, guys. Welcome back for another Blether. If you've been listening into the first 30 seconds, you'll be thinking, what the hell is going on? We are here. I'm back. It's Thursday night, and let's find out a little bit about what you guys have been up to at home over the summer holidays. Please let me know what you've been up to, what whiskies you've tried over the last. How long have we been off? 5-6 weeks?
Yeah, it's whole school holidays, so like 6 weeks, I think.
Yeah, 6 weeks. Goes by too fast. So good evening to Russell. We have Russell in. He was first on. He was first on the YouTube there to say hello. We've got Dave Fackerson on. Hello, Dave. Willis and David Muir. Got a lot. It's like almost an academy reunion.
It's like a reunion.
Dave said, Dave Ferguson, too much whiskey. He's had too much whiskey over the holidays. So, is there such a thing? I'll leave that up to you guys to decide.
I don't think so. Hashtag responsible drinking and all that jazz.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can, so, what have you been up to, Kat? How's your day been?
I mean, let's just scratch it up. How's your day been? Let's ask that question.
My day's been pretty good, actually. Yeah. It's been a pretty good, fairly relaxed. Went up to see Chris at Little Brown Dog. Had a wee chat with him at the distillery there. And it's been quite a relaxed day, actually. Up early, looking after the wee one, and loads of cool stuff. But guys, you're not here to listen to us talk about our days. We're here to talk about whiskey. We're talking all things whiskey. And I can't think of a better guest to bring on here for her Blether debut. From Arran and The Lagg, we've got Mariella. And I hope I pronounced that right.
That was fantastic. Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me. Hi.
Thank you for coming along. It's we've Kat to thank for reaching out to you and bringing you in for a wee chat.
Nice to meet you. Absolutely. I told Mike off screen backstage that I've been watching so many of these videos, so I'm so glad you guys asked me to do it. So I remember when Andrew Smith did his first one, I was there to watch that. I was like, that's very cool. So yeah. I am looking forward to getting to meet you properly. I already know your Hogwarts house, Kat, so we're already pals. We're already in the same house. So 10 points right there.
Is Hufflepuff the Badger?
It is, yes.
Yeah. Well, that makes 3 of us then. I'm the Badger. I can never remember.
Are you a Hufflepuff too? Fantastic. We should make the Hufflepuff Whiskey Club.
I'm sure that it's somewhere somebody has already mixed those 2 worlds together, didn't they?
It probably does, doesn't it?
I'm so surprised there hasn't been. You know how was it Diageo did the Game of Thrones series and then McCallum did James Bond. Why has there not been a 4-set Harry Potter?
I think
maybe
because it's still considered a children book, maybe, or like a children's story. you don't want to cross that line, so it's like better to keep it safe. It is so like the first movie came out 20 years ago, so we're not children anymore, are we? Like,
everyone who watched that are now old enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Although, I can't believe that it's that long ago the film came out. I remember queuing up at midnight waiting for the Harry Potter books to come out because they used to release them at midnight and they used to open up the bookshops. I remember standing there with my wand because I was that cool when I was waiting to get my Harry Potter things.
We can't laugh because we all know people who do that for whiskey, so let's not.
Not with a wand, hopefully.
Maybe not with a wand, yeah, but with a glass. They'll be sitting there with a glass ready to pour. Talking of glasses, let's have a shout out to the guys at home. What is in your glass at home? Let us know in the chat. Mariella, what are you pouring tonight? What's your first dram of the night going to be?
The first dram of the night is just a classic. I thought I started like easy and nice. So I'm just drinking a nice Arran 10. Can't go wrong. Just nice. Simply the best. It's just David Muir said it in the comments.
Simply the best. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is that an Aberdeen football saying? It's definitely not an Aberdeen football saying. We don't mix football and whiskey. It's not a good thing. Politics and religion are
politics.
we're not going to talk about tonight. Absolutely.
I agree. 100% agree. But no, Arran 10 classic is just got a new batch, lovely whiskey. I don't know if you guys have ever tried this one before.
Yeah. It's a favorite. They've just got such a good range. It's a good solid core range that they've got, and some special editions. I've got the port cask here, which I'm going to have a dram of later on. Awesome. I've got the rum casks stashed away. We had family up staying a couple of weeks ago now, so I had to move my whole whiskey collection into the garage to make the spare room available to them. So,
Snap.
Wow.
We need to be friends. Listen, Mike, I love you, but like,
you can tell me. So I pronounce this as Amarone. Is that right? Do you pronounce the E at the end?
Amarone is perfect. That's one of the biggest mistakes that people do when pronouncing Italian names. Giuseppe, Linguini. Well, in reality, it's Giuseppe and Linguine. So Amarone.
You have
perfect.
Why
did you laugh? What did I say?
No. You have struck on quite a recent problem of mine. So I have a friend who I am seeing just now, who is called Giuseppe, and I cannot say his name right. And this has been a bone of contention for a few weeks now.
Oh so my God, this is hilarious.
Listen, we don't get offended easily, or at least we don't just say it to your face. Italians are very dramatic, but we're very cool with it. I'm pretty sure if you call him Giuseppe, he knows. Like, I'm pretty sure this happened many, many times in his life before. I get my name wrong 9 out of 10 times via email, where like you can read my name at the bottom of the email. So I'm like, I'm not I don't care anymore. It's okay. It's fine.
It's okay. Well, you can help me pronounce his name properly. So next time I see him, I can surprise him.
First Italian lesson of the evening, Giuseppe. Everybody say it after me, Giuseppe.
Giuseppe.
Well done. First lesson.
Okay. Thank you for that.
What are you guys drinking? What do you have in your glasses?
Kat, what have you got?
So I've got this one because I wasn't sure what we're all starting with. It's the Kilmorey one because I was out to Arran like a couple of weeks ago now on holiday. So I picked it up there. But I was very excited because I did. Arran's beautiful. We couldn't stop for long just because we kind of came over from Campbellton, jumped over to Arran, kind of did a tour around. But it was very busy with tourist season. So we only got time for Arran. We didn't get down to Lagg. But, first fill bourbon and peat, I'm like, yes. That's a bit of me. So that's what I have tonight.
Oh, I have got, you mentioned Andrew Smith earlier on. So I've got their inaugural release, which was in 2011 Arran in a first fill bourbon, 60.3%. So I'm going to start high and then work down, I think.
Wow.
But it's just a beautiful, beautiful whiskey. And from Little Brown Dog, we talk about them quite a lot in our Blethers, not just because they're local to us, but because they do some fantastic whiskey as well.
They do indeed.
Let's see what guys have got. So David Muir has got a Glencadam Oloroso sherry cask in his glass. That is another favourite of ours, the Glencadam guys. Russell has got, I'm going to absolutely murder this one. It looks like a red wine, I'm going to guess. Sangiovese? Is that?
Almost, but you got the finally right, which gives you automatically 10 points as well. So you got Sangiovese.
So, I was well off then.
Just a G.
I've got the cork stuck in my bottle is what I've got. I'll be 2 seconds.
Oh dear.
Okay.
And guys, here is a very rare sighting of Cat's whiskey selection. There we go.
All right.
We have a joke every week that Cat has no whiskey in her selection, but it is there. It's just she always sits right in front of it.
Yeah, she hides it. It's a mystery.
We've got Rick joining us from San Francisco, he's on the Starbucks. It is quite early, I think. Was it 10 or 11 o'clock with you, Rick? You're watching from San Francisco.
Yeah.
We've got Frank, who's on the Arran Port Cask this evening. He has just finished work. Frank, I will be joining you in that dram a little bit later on. So, Kat, are you open?
A cork failure, but I'm back. The cork snapped off in the neck of the bottle, but I'm all right.
I know. Oh no.
Is that lag?
Yeah, the little mushroom came off the top. I damaged it coming back over from Arran or something. It's like a little mushroom cork, but the two bits were separated.
Oh no,
okay.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It would be my fault. I was too rough with it. Don't worry. Just means I'll have to drink it. That's all.
Is it so damaged that you can't put the cork back on?
I have just mangled it taking it out, so no, it won't be going back on. But I've got like those the ones you can put in wine.
Okay.
Like the fake ones you can put in.
Yeah. So we're going to have to sit here until you finish the bottle then.
Yeah. I mean, you know how slow I drink, so we could be here for days.
A good thing tomorrow's Friday, and then you have a whole weekend, so it's you can invite some friends over and get the job done.
Yeah.
Working all weekend, but the thought is
never mind. Pretend I said nothing. It's okay. It's all good.
Yeah.
Mariella, so
season's still busy.
Where did it all start for you? You're obviously not native to Scotland. We picked that up pretty quickly. But how did you get involved in? We kind of associate Italians with wine as a national drink. So, what made you look at whiskey and think that's for me?
Yeah, cliche tasting it. I remember the first time I had like a whiskey properly, like sat down and did the whole ritual of like nosing, tasting, and enjoying it. And I don't know, something clicked. I was in London. I moved from Italy. I was very young. I was 20, 21. I left uni. I left everything, and I was like, I love where I'm from, but I didn't really see myself like, there for a long time. So I wanted to try something different. So I moved to London because I had a cousin living there, classic Italian schemes. And she helped me move to the UK, and I got a job in a bar. And my manager at the time told me to try the whiskeys, obviously, so that we could recommend it to people after dinner. And I tried Lagavulin 16. And I haven't looked back since. It was like the start of like a new passion. I thought it was the best thing I've ever tried. And then the more I discovered about the industry, the culture, like, in Scotland in general, I got completely hooked with the whole romanticism about it to begin with, but now the reality of it afterwards too. And so I decided to look for a job. And I still remember, like, I just sent this very bad email with my CV to so many different shops and bars in London, just going, please give me a job. I want to learn more about whiskey. And I got very lucky that somebody actually picked up on it and gave me a part-time job at the Whisky Exchange in Vinopolis, which doesn't exist anymore now.
Right.
But my boss, Alex, at the time, the nicest man on earth, he was like, oh, come part-time, see how it goes. And then very quickly I went from part-time to full-time. And it was the first proper job in whiskey I had, but it was also the best because I got to see the whole industry like very quickly, taste whiskeys daily. So I've learned so much from people that have been like, doing that job for years. Like I would consider them like mentors now, people that taught me literally things that I still know about whiskey to this day, but also see people in action. I remember when like Colin Dunn, like, I met him for the first time, it was great and amazing already back then, like 10 years ago, and seeing his tastings. I remember when Stuart Buchanan came from Benriach, first time meeting him 10 years ago and attending
Yeah.
his tasting. It was, surreal. I was like, I want to do that. I was like, that's the job I want to do. And I just worked my way to it. So I changed a lot of jobs quite quickly in London just to get to that position of brand ambassador. I worked for different companies, the Scotchman Whisky Society, the Whisky Lounge, the Whisky Exchange again, the Arran Distilleries as a brand ambassador. And then I took a sabbatical. This was back in 2018. And I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I want to go back to the UK or not. But then I realized if I wanted a job, I needed to go back to the UK. And to be honest, I also missed it. Like I missed the whole, industry and the fun of it all. And I felt the longer I stay away from it, the more I'm going to miss out as well, because it's an ever-changing industry all the time. So many new people, like, come and go, so many brands and whatnot. So I looked for a job and I got very lucky. I sent an email to my now boss, Ewan, our managing director, Ewan Mitchell. And I think we exchanged emails and at the time Skype calls when Zoom was not a thing like yet.
Yeah.
Many Skype calls. And after like 6-7 months, I think, we got to meet in person. And then he said, okay, if you would like the job, I would like to offer you the job of Global Brand Ambassador. And I was like, this is my dream job. And it's been now almost 5 years. So I started in January 2019. I moved to Scotland a little bit earlier. I worked at the Highlander Inn for a few months just to get acquainted with the Scottishness of it all. I was like, let me see if I can do this. Tatsuya was a saint. He gave me a job for a couple of months and gave me a place to stay. And I loved it. I loved living this Bayside for a few months. Very different place. It's like felt like a tiny little village, and the farmers were coming in and the locals were coming in and the people that were the regulars that you got to meet every week. It was very nice, very cozy, and obviously a great bar, amazing whiskeys too.
Outstanding. Yeah.
Absolutely. So then I just moved to Glasgow. Now I've been working as Global Brand Ambassador for 5 years. So it's been pretty sweet.
Yeah. And so you're global ambassador. So you've been around the world promoting the Arran and most recently the Lagg. What kind of festivals stick out for you? What are the highlights of the year for you?
So far this year, South Korea has like stolen my heart. I think I am. Don't tell this out loud, like don't repeat this, but I love Japan. I've been loving Japan since I was a child, like a anime fan, and I love the culture, I love the history, I love everything, the food, whatnot. And I didn't have many expectations about South Korea, but man, like I was like mind blown. Like I'm looking at Asia in a completely different way now, and South Korea was like insane. Like the amount of people that love whiskey, but also see it more like as a fun thing. Like you don't just do a tasting, you like have cocktails, or you go to a concert, or you go to an event. It's much more visual, and it's fun. Like it absolutely is so much fun. And then New Zealand as well. I got to go to Dram Fest this year, which was on my top 5 things that I wanted to do in my career. And I got to go to Christchurch for Dram Fest. It was a fantastic show, and it's just cool because you're in New Zealand, you're so far away, but it feels so similar to Scotland too. So it was very surreal, but absolutely wonderful show. So far those 2, but I have some very exciting.
That's a Kiwi, so I've never been.
Yeah, you never been to New Zealand? Is that what you said?
No, my dad's New Zealander, but I've never been out. But it looks amazing, and I've heard about Dram Fest. It looks really, really good.
Yeah.
We'll need to get out for that. We'll get the whiskey bus on the road, Mike.
Well, maybe need the whiskey plane for that one to get over. New Zealand is it's some place. I was meant to go there for my honeymoon, but that was going to be in 2020, so that all got cancelled. So I am keen to get back or to get over there. We had a lineup of some places to see. So how much of the country do you get to see when you're over? Because when we talk to brand ambassadors, we hear about all these great places that you're going. I kind of almost liken it to maybe like a rock star on a tour, where they basically in a hotel room or in the tour bus, they're into the event and then they're back and then they're on the road again. Do you get time to kind of relax and see the
Yeah, I am that person though. I'm that person that like will make sure that I have like even 2 hours a day. I am that person that gets up at like 7 a.m. to go like somewhere, walk for like 2 hours, and then start the day
Okay.
like work. I love whiskey as much as I love traveling. That's why I love my job. But yeah, if I can even just ask for like a day off while I'm in the market just for myself, I try. Or if I can't, like for example in New Zealand, I literally landed, I went to Hobbiton, and then super jet lag, absolutely destroyed, went on to do a tasting for like 3 hours in the evening, and I was like, worth it, absolutely worth it. I will still do it anyway, like I still absolutely do it because I want to make the most of it. So yeah, I am that person, self-destructive person, just for the good of the market. I love that.
You've got to though, like you're there, like yeah. It would be such a shame if all you ever saw was the airport and inside like town halls and things.
It happens more often than you think, that you just sometimes, especially in busy periods like now, I would love to have like an extra couple of days in Canada or the US or whatnot, but you're like, but that means that I have one less day to actually rest and recover and then get on it like again. So sometimes you just have to make decisions like for yourself. But I have to say, distributors most of the times are the nicest human beings, and not only they want you to work hard, but they also want you to have a good time. So they'll drive you around or get you to that restaurant or wherever you want to go. So I've learned my lessons. I now tell my distributors in advance. I'm like, just so you know, if there is some time, I would love to do this. And I'm like, not suggesting or anything, we're from work, but if we have like one spare hour one of these days, if we could do that, that would be awesome. So there are no surprises there. So they know where I stand, because sometimes you just meet people for the first time, so they don't know you at all. So, I feel it's much better to be upfront from the start. Or maybe that's just me being Italian and scary and direct. I don't know, but it works. It works for me.
I love the directness of, it's not just Italy though, kind of the Spanish and the French as well. There is just that it comes sometimes, but it's probably more the German kind of side. It comes across really abrupt, or the Scandinavians, but you guys have that twang where it comes across as direct, but also there's just that kind of nice romantic twang to the voice as well. It's a softer language, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So you get away with it.
British people are awfully polite. I think you just say what you mean. Like British people will talk round and round the houses and never actually say what they mean, and then just stand in a queue. Like at least with like Europeans, like you can just get to like the meaning a lot quicker than if you were British. British people just walk away without an answer and just be happy. It's like, well, no, it's okay. I just won't ask. Actually, it's like it's so stupid.
I have that in restaurants, and I get so angry, especially when I'm with my partner or with a friend. When you have food that is not nice, but in this country you just don't say it. In Italy, if that happened in Italy, God, like the whole restaurant.
It's a big thing in Italy, though, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here it's like, I will just not eat it and just say that it's okay, and maybe don't leave the tip and just go home. And I'm like,
yeah, it's an annoying part of our culture, though, isn't it? That we'll sit and we'll stew, and then we'll tell everyone, except the restaurant, who are the only ones who can really do anything about it. Or we'll write a review. We'll say, well, I won't go back there again. Instead of saying, well, actually, this burger's a little bit cold. Can you heat it up again? Yeah, fine. And it's sorted in a matter of minutes. But no, we'll just sit and be like.
Good.
We apologize for it. We're like, I'm really sorry, but this is actually cold. I'm sorry. It's maybe just me, but like, I think it's a bit cold, but I'm really sorry. He's like, don't mind me apologize for it. We didn't cook it.
It's just because we
need to be more assertive.
People are very kind in this country. They don't want to hurt anybody. They don't want to make anybody's day bad, right? So you just prefer to just not say it so that everybody has a good day. I appreciate that too. It comes from a good place. It doesn't come from a bad place.
Yeah. I think we have a good hospitality industry, but it's one thing that it grates me time and time again is you go to Italy, you go to France, you go to Spain, and you ask the waiters about the wine, and they know it. it's a passion for them. You go into a bar in Scotland, largely, not all the bars, but they don't know the difference between a malt and a single blend, a blend and a single malt. Regions and peaty whiskey and all that. There's just that kind of glazed look of it. We've got grouse, or we've got McCallum. Yeah. And you're like, come on, guys, let's we need to up the game on that big time over here.
We're very proud, and we Italians. Like, we really love our food, we love our wine, our culture, like to an extreme, to some extremes. One,
it's passion, isn't it? It's really part of
we're very passionate. You should see me as soon as like a pineapple pizza get mentioned in a tasting or an event. That's when the passion really. Is
that a yes or a no for you? Pineapple on a pizza?
Well, Mike and Kat, it's lovely to talk to you today. Thank you so much for having me. It's been lovely. Thank you. I mostly talked. Actually, I think 20 minutes of those 25 was just me, but I loved it. Thank you so much. And
I have learned also that there's certain things that we think is Italian food, and it's not. Don't mention a jar of carbonara sauce. I'm just saying, okay. Yeah, it's not carbonara.
It's okay.
Yeah, because carbonara is not saucy, is it? Is it traditional carbonara? Is it a dry kind of?
It is saucy, but it's made in a certain way. I'm sorry, we're talking about Italian food. It always happens. It's like I'm sorry, apologies.
That's okay. I'm getting used to it.
Yeah. If any of my colleagues is watching this, I'm sorry. I know I don't just talk about food, I swear, but sometimes. It is saucy, but it is to be done like in a specific way, like egg yolks only, beaten, lots of pecorino cheese with a little bit of like the water from the pasta, and like not on the fire, so like cold, sort of like not cold pan, but not heated pan, and then stirred. But don't worry, Mike, I'll send you the links to the recipes.
Send me a recipe, that'd be awesome. Yeah,
it's one of my favorite things to do. Just sending people's like, why is Napolitan pizza, and why is this pizza not pizza? Like I have a whole folder on Instagram of those. So I am prepared. I will
go check that out.
Yeah.
Russell, who was watching on YouTube, he's gutted because, he's saying gutted with a pineapple emoji. So I guess he's a pro pineapple on a pizza guy.
It's okay. We love you, Russell.
It's okay.
I like it too. I do like a Hawaiian pizza. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm not judging. It's absolutely fine.
Absolutely.
I mean, do we have evidence it's actually Hawaiian? I mean, has anybody been to Hawaii and seen them eat ham and pineapple constantly? I mean, do we know this to be actually correct?
BBC, BBC Food, like BBC, the recipes, but declared war on Italy during lockdown by releasing a recipe called Hawaiian pasta.
No.
It is. And it was just spaghetti with cubed pineapple from a tin in a pan. And I was like, okay, I'm rethinking my decisions in my life. I'm like, I'm not sure I could live with this. But
leaving Britain straight away.
I mean, that is there's a marketing faux pas and a food faux pas in that, isn't it?
You're taking it one step way too far. You're taking it one step too far.
So did you have any influence over the Amarone cask with the Arran?
No.
Or
a lot of people asked me, but I actually didn't. But funny enough, our previous Italian distributor did. And it was a man called Maurizio. He actually came to visit Arran, and he loved it so much that he lived 6 months on Arran, and then used to live 6 months in Italy. So just like me, he found his little home in Scotland as well, which is beautiful. And it was him. So he was the one suggesting the casks. It was obviously a fan of the wine. And I think we tried it out and we thought it was an absolute great combination. So we never really stopped doing it. So yeah, it's part of our wine cask finishes. So it gets bottled every year, every spring. And it's just a 6 to 9 months finish after 6-7 years in bourbon cask, but it gives the nicest Turkish delight, almost a rose water. I get a lot of like spring, like, it's very sweet, lots of cherry and chocolate, but it has a bit of like a darker undertone at the back, almost as if the tannins of the wine were like coming through, and you can feel it. Like you can feel the red wineness just after, but like at the front, it's just like a walk in a rose garden with like chocolate in your hands. It's absolutely fantastic. So I don't have anything. I come from Limoncello land. I come from Campania, from Naples. So Amarone is very far away from where I'm from, but I'm not complaining at all because it's a wonderful, wonderful whiskey. So I'm happy it's part of the range.
It's very, very good. I'm seeing lots of chat about my hair. What is wrong with my hair, guys?
So I'm beginning to think that the guys at home have got like a little Blether bingo going. When you let your hair down, that is like a tick in the box. It's like, yay, can't let your hair down. So two guys.
I do that all.
Apparently, it's
as long as nothing in my hair.
Every 22 minutes. After 22 minutes, you let your hair down every time.
It's just the pressure of the sheer weight of it on top of my head. That's what it is. And also hides the whiskey collection at the back. Nobody can see past it.
I know people were getting nosebleeds looking at your whiskey collection. Like, oh my God, she's got whiskey on her shelf.
I know. I promised I'd get a new shelf, and I didn't, but I will. I will get a new shelf.
We were talking cigars online as well. Somebody, the guys on YouTube are Rick and Russell were commenting. Russell's smoking a Nicaraguan cigar alongside his wine. Rick is talking about, sounds appealing, to be honest. I love exploring the layers of flavour in whiskey so much he doesn't smoke cigars. We did a cigar tasting during lockdown. So people were at home in the back garden smoking a cigar, and we paired it with 4 different whiskies. And we deliberately did it so that the heavy smoke whiskey was first, and then we gradually lightened the peat level of the whiskey, because as you smoke the cigar, it goes from a light smoke to a heavier smoke. So we're trying to keep that balance of peat or smoke level. So Rick, unpeated whiskey with a cigar works really, really well. If you have smoky whiskies and cigars, for me, can kind of get overpowering on the smoke there, which is
what's wrong with my lighting?
Yeah, how you get it all tonight. I know all we need to do is mention Glengarry and it's like a full set.
I feel like you're under a lot of pressure here, Kat.
She is. Russell never suffered this abuse.
I've got the big light turned up, Rick. Honestly, I've put the big light on for you. I mean, have you seen the price of electric? That's my dedication to the Blether.
Anyway, we'll go back to whiskey. Mariella, we've got Arran. More recently, we had Lagg Distillery. For the guys at home who maybe don't know or have experienced the difference, can you kind of give us an overview of the 2 distilleries?
Absolutely. I couldn't have joined at a better time. I joined in 2019 when Lagg Distillery construction was underway, and we were like ready to celebrate our 25th anniversary. We rebranded the whole range. So yeah, the last 5 years, lots of changes, and for the good, obviously, for the company. But in a nutshell, I love Arran Distilleres is the company, of course. We have 2 distilleries on the Isle of Arran. Surprise, surprise. So we have one in the northern part of the island called now Locranza Distillery, which is the original Isle of Arran distillery, which produces the Arran single malt. And in 2019, we kind of opened and started distilling also a Lagg distillery in the village of Lagg on the southern part of the island. So now we have Locranza Distillery that is going on, that has been going on since 1995, so 28 years old in June, just celebrated a birthday. A Lagg Distillery that instead is 4 years old. If you know anything about Arran, like, you know that like until recently I used to call us like a young distillery. Now I feel like there's way too many young distilleries out there to be calling us young. But
you're also a teenager now, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. We're like the oldest of the youngest, if that makes sense. Yeah. We opened like a distillery in very unusual, very bad time, the 90s. most distilleries were shutting down. We're kind of like, in a way, like the pioneers of the new whiskey wave, like, that like been followed then by Kilchoman, Glengyle, and like all the other distilleries that like followed right after. But it started Locrans in the 1995, and then we were trying to find our steps, like, trying to find ourselves for the first few years. We did a lot of wine cask finishes. Some could say maybe too many. We did loads of those. They went down very well. And then finally we built like a nice core range. Now we even have a 25-year-old in the mix. And in a nutshell, the way I like to describe Arran single malt is very much unique to itself. Like, we're like a Speyside from an island, like Speyside flavors. We have a very sweet new make, very like orchard fruity new make. So vanilla, orchard fruits, like honey. Obviously depends which casks, like, it's been matured in, but in a general sense, it's like a nice, sweet, fruity, creamy whiskey with a very interesting texture. So we do a kind of a very slow distillation. We want that whiskey to be either quite creamy, quite waxy. We want it to have like presence in your palate, which is nice. And mostly unpeated. We do still bottle a few of like peated whiskey called Macri Moore. But we actually stopped producing peated whiskey in 2017 when we bought land for the new distillery.
I was going to ask about the Macklemore range. Is that going to continue as long as you have peated casks from Arran, and then that'll cease?
So the company has not really made like an official statement, but common sense, like general sense is, we're bottling it until we can, and then we'll see what happens. But so far we've not picked up the peated production again.
Okay.
Yeah. So opposite is Lagg, which is also very young. Our whiskey is like the one that Kat has been drinking or is still enjoying now, is 3 years old. And it is complete different, like, flavor profile. We're going very much for a West Coast style whiskey. I'm not going into Islay because it is heavily peated. Like, the barley is 50 ppm, which is not shy, but flavor wise, it's not really an Islay. I think it's closer to like a Campbelltown or like a Legic from like Tobermory. It's very much like a dirty hay, like grassy green, like, bonfire sort of smokiness. Our Lagg new make tastes very much like a mezcal. Like, yes, it's sort of like slightly sweetness, but it has a bit of like the dirty smokiness, like, very green, dirty smokiness attached to it too. So our whiskey tend to carry that on as well, especially after it's been matured in first fill bourbon. You still get that sweetness from the bourbon casks, but then that, like, smokiness to contrast it, which is quite unique. And yeah, we really just released only our inaugural releases last year. So we did 3 different bottlings. They were like 10,000 bottles each. And then this year we released our core range whiskeys, which are the Kilmorey, matured in bourbon cask, 46%, and then the Corrie Cravey, which is 55% and finished in sherry. So this is us in a couple of minutes.
Nice. Yeah, it's a incredible thing now that you're 20, 30, 20, was it 94? So it'll be 20.
Yeah, 4 years now. Yeah, 4 years. Like 2019 is when we started like filming.
Yeah, sorry, Arran as well. The Arran Distilleries, I think, is 94. It's been around for as you say. We still, maybe not myself, but people still regard Arran as quite a young new distillery.
Absolutely. It's only been recently, and I want to say thanks to the rebrands, thanks to the awards that our 10-year-old has won and whatnot, that like I have more people coming to me telling me, "Oh, I love your 10 years old," and like knowing us. I remember when I started in 2019, I still had loads of people saying, "Oh, did you know there was a distillery on Arran?" so now like it's changed a lot in the last few years, which is fantastic, obviously, to see. But I also have a lot of people telling me about like Arran and how it was like 10, 15 years ago, very, very, we're literally growing up. I see us as like a company that is like coming of age, like for real. Like, like our 10-year-old, I think has never been this good, even compared to like our previous 10 years old. I think our liquid like is the best, like, it could be right now. And it's great to be part of it, and to see it going in this direction. So Yeah.
Kind of very closely tied with Campbelltown, wasn't it? When Campbelltown was back at the start of the 1900s, when it was kind of really getting a boom of probably more illicit distillers than legal ones. But Arran, they reckon maybe up to 50 distilleries on Arran at one point back at the start of the 1900s.
Absolutely. I don't know if you ever heard of Robert Armour,
Yes.
the still maker. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the weirdest story about this guy. I every January I participate in the Burns night that my mother-in-law, my father-in-law are like part of like this club. It's called like I forgot the name. I'm sorry. Anyway, they're part of this club, this Robert Burns club in Edinburgh, and we go every year. And obviously we have the Robert Burns single malt in our portfolio, and
Yes.
I always go and provide the whiskeys for the toasts. Of course, it would be rude not to. And the first time I did that back in like 2020, I think it was, I was giving whiskeys to these people. Oh yeah, because it was pre-lockdown, so 2020. And I gave this whiskey to this guy, and the guy was like, "Oh, tell me more about your distillery, blah blah blah." And I go full on, and I go like, "Oh, there was this still maker in Campbelltown, Robert Armour. He, for some reason, he kept like notes of everything he did, like including the illegal stills that he sold. 50 illegal stills were definitely sold to Arran. So we have like documented proof that at least 50 stills were like working on Arran illegally." And now since we opened in 95, we brought whiskey legally back after 150 years, and we can tell the story and blah 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 blah. And the guy goes, "Do you want to guess what my name is?" And I'm like, "I don't know where this is going." And the guy goes, "My name is Robert Armour." And that was like my great breaker. And I was like,
Wow. Awesome.
I just told the story of like your family back at you. I feel so bad.
Amazing. Oh, that's so cool.
And he said
what a guy he was, wasn't he?
Sorry.
I'm just saying, Robert Armour, what a guy. I wrote a blog on him.
Did you?
But this time last year, actually. Yeah, really, really pretty cool guy, because they found remains of a still, and so he was practicing distilling as well as making distills for other people as well. He was an electrician, I think, wasn't he? He was registered as an electrician, I think.
I actually don't know. I remember learning about him when I joined the company, and I think it was scotchwhiskey.com. I think they have a long article about him too, and I remember reading that you can still go and visit his grave in Campbelltown, and but interesting guy. You need to pass me that blog article then. Yeah,
I will do. So Arran is not new to whiskey, but we have a new whiskey on Arran. So we have Lagg, 3 years old now, and I guess we'd be talking about new distilleries now. We're talking Ardnamurchan, Raasay, Lagg, Torrevieja, these kind of guys. So it's not unusual to be looking at a 3-year-old now coming out. Do you think that Lagg got the confidence from that to say, well, we don't have to wait?
Absolutely. I think it's more, I hope you don't mind me just moving around real quick. I just forgot
I don't get seasick. That's cool.
I can talk and walk, 2 things at the same time. But no, absolutely. And I think it was obviously a long conversation. You don't want to, you want to bottle something that you're confident about. It's something that you're happy with, of course. But I think I speak for everybody in my company when I say that when we tried Lagg at 3 years of age, we just knew it was like a great dram. And I think we're also lucky because it's a heavily peated whiskey. So heavily peated, and at a young age, it shines that peatiness, the smokiness shines through fantastically. So I don't know. Now you tried it, Kat. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I think, especially when we launched the inaugural releases at 50% ABV, heavily peated, especially the bourbon cask, it just shows the character so wonderfully. And yes, of course, because all these other new distilleries obviously launched their whiskeys so young, and they were so well received, we obviously felt quite comfortable doing that too. But it's a big distillery. I don't know if you've seen it or if you've seen any photos. And obviously a big project. So I think there was also part of us that said, like, we need to get some whiskey out there, considering also the fact that we were shut for like almost 2 years because of COVID. So I think it's like, it's just the right decision for us, the right decision to make.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, customers are absolutely willing to take a. I would say it's a punt now because it's an educated guess now. We get to see these samples at a lot of festivals now, and they're more open to that as well. It's not this kind of cloak and dagger to non-age statement because it's inferior. People are quite happy. They know the knowledge is there to say, yeah, you know what, it's 3 years old, but it's going to be good stuff. So,
Of course. Well, I hope
probably
that's
10, 15 years ago that wouldn't have been the case.
Yeah, I was very very happy at the Whiskey French last week, and also like at the Dram Good Festival 2 weeks before, because it's the first time you pour something, like, you give something to people like ever. So yeah, I was very curious for people reactions, but I have to say they've been all very positive, which makes me very, very happy. And people are happy drinking a young, heavily peated whiskey these days. Like, they don't really, they don't mind the age that much today. Like, it's all about the quality of the liquid at the end of the day. So
It doesn't feel like a young whiskey. I'm having major internet problems. I'm sorry. Like, everything's just, you guys keep like your mouths are not matching up with your words.
That's your testament to the distillery. That's your own lag.
yeah.
Exactly. It's literally lag. I've just been to see if the kids' internet's out, but I don't know. But sorry, that's why I keep disappearing.
Is that another thing, like, that people are like, I've been waiting for at like minute 46, your internet goes down, or is it?
Yeah.
Is it unusual? Yeah,
It's pretty much.
It's because you've got the big light on. It's eating the electric, and the internet doesn't work.
It's draining it out. What I was going to say is, it doesn't feel like whiskey. Like, there's been new distilleries that released young whiskies, and you kind of feel the impact of it as being young, not in a bad way, but you just know it maybe needs a little bit more time to kind of go into itself. But Lag doesn't feel, you wouldn't guess that it was a young whiskey. You try it, it's quite well balanced. It's really nice, really, really good. That's my official whiskey tasting. Really nice. Really, really nice.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Well, I've sent you some samples too. I'm sorry they didn't arrive in time, but there are some samples your way as well, so that you can try it too. So
we will look forward to those. Yeah.
Are production methods similar between Arran and Lag? Because Arran kind of is quite similar, quite famous for the fact that you claim to have one of the slowest spirit runs out of all of the.
It's actually not. I mean, before James retired, James McTaggart was like our distillery manager for like quite a number of years. Before he retired, it was obviously hands-on, like, with the creation of Lag, together with Graham, our now distillery manager at Lag, and a few tweaks. Obviously, everything is in terms of sizing, everything is bigger. Lag is much bigger than obviously Locranza is, and the stills shape is completely different too. We are trying to get a much earthier, richer, like sort of spirit. So we want to create like a bit more like a robust, like, the spirit that stands well also with the smokiness, with the peatiness. So again, I'm gonna break it down like this is like very, very basic. I'm sorry. It has no romanticism about this at all. But in terms of like water in Locranza, very clear, very pure, like pH perfect water that comes from the mountains, the purest water in Scotland. And the mashing that we do, obviously the barley is the same apart from the ppm, but we get it from the same guys. Mostly it's Boar's malt, which actually I think is not that far away from you guys. So Northeast Scotland. And then the mashing that we do in Locranza is clear. We actually we have a semi-lauter stainless steel mash tun. We try not to stir it at all. We actually almost leave it soaking because we want a clear wort. While in Locranza, Lag, we steer it. Like we really go for it because we want a cloudy wort. Locranza is 2.5 tons big. And Lag is 3.5 tons big. So it's like quite big. It's exactly the same sort of mashing. And then when the liquid, when the wort goes into the washbacks, at the moment, there is we just installed 4 new washbacks at Locranza, actually, literally like a couple of weeks ago. So we just finished, like, building this. So we built like an extension on our building site, on our distillery. But let's say that both distilleries at the moment do 75 hours fermentation. But I think moving forward, and this is combining some 55 and 110 hours fermentations mixed together. So spirit, like, that comes from 2 different sort of, like, fermenting washes. But I think moving forward, Lag will continue doing 55 hours Monday to Friday and 110 hours fermentation, like, over the weekend. While Locranza, I think we want to switch to 7 days a week and just do constant 75 hours every time. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it's just going to happen at some point. And then, so we're literally left with like a wash that is around like 8% ABV in both distilleries, and wooden washbacks, Oregon pine, just classically, same yeast and all. And then distillation is where it changes a lot. So obviously, first distillation just goes. The second one is where we make like a very distinct separation between the two. Locranza, as you said, 6 liters of alcohol per minute, very slow, very short stills, line arm that is parallel to the floor. So there is a little bit more reflux, but in reality, the reflux is only caused by the temperature racks that are controlled inside. While a Lag, we are doing a fast distillation and is around almost double, as it's like 10, 11 liters of alcohol per minute. And the cuts are almost the same. I think a Lag, we experimented with a bit of a lower cut at the beginning, but then we decided to stick bang on with the middle. So I think there's maybe like a 0.5 difference between the two. I want to say Locranza is 74 degrees to 63, and Lag is like 74 to 63.5. So that's really it. But the water makes a difference. The mash makes a big difference, but the distillation is where we really make a difference between the two. And obviously the shape of the stills. Some people told me we have like a wooden stills. I still haven't checked this, but we have like our spirit stills is like very oniony, bulky. There is a bulb, and then the line arm goes all the way to the floor. Like it's literally like very narrow angle of the line arm there. So we try to get a bit of a dirtier, like, more robust spirit out of Lag.
Okay, that's cool.
That's
Sorry, there was a lot of information said.
That is cool. I'm going to go back and rewatch that because there's a lot of information going on. But that's cool. I like it how they've deliberately mapped out that 2 different journeys, because it probably would have been very easy to kind of say, well, we're going to do the same thing at Arran, but we're going to repeat it. But that would have been effectively Machrie getting its own distillery, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like Machrie is so different. I mean, the spirit, and I hope when I'll come see you in Inverary, I'll bring you some new make. I like to start my journeys from new make, and you'll just see, just even like non-peated new make, because we've done a few fun runs. Even like unpeated new make is nothing like Arran like new make. It's just like 2 completely different worlds. So yeah, we just want to separate them. Same company, one island, one company, but 2 very distinct distilleries and whiskies.
Do you know, it's like growing up as a twin. Me and my brother always wanted to be separated. So, like you got your twin distilleries, but you want to make sure that you're like very, very different from each other. So came from the same mother, but definitely not the same people. It's kind of what it reminds me of.
Of course. I had somebody the other day telling me, it was hilarious. Came in 2 tables next to each other, and somebody came to me and said like, "Oh, so you changed job? You're not with Arran anymore?" Because I was at the Lag table, and I was like, "That's good to hear, but no, I still have the same job, just the other distillery I'm looking after today, but still the same company." And they didn't know, so I was like, "Well, that's maybe good. I don't know."
I think there's a positive side to that, in that people will look at Lag in its own right, rather than saying, "Oh, I love Arran, I'm going to like Lag. I love Arran, or I don't like Arran, so I'm not going to like Lag." So I think it's important to have that distinct. Not that anyone doesn't like Arran.
It's okay. I'm pretty sure there are some people out there that don't like Arran. There's a lot of other distilleries. It's fine.
So it's like a newer. Oh, sorry, go on, Mike.
No, you crack on.
say as a newer distillery with Lagg, do you have a bit more room to experiment? So like different types of peat, would you kind of change around with the spirit cut, maybe the malt?
Yeah,
Or
we definitely want to. So far, we've experimented with the same peat, same barley, and casks variety. That's what we've been doing. Like we've done a local barley 90 ppm run last year, which is very exciting. We're doing parallel projects between the two distilleries. Like we filled on the same day Calvados casks at both distilleries. So one day we borrow them side by side and see what happened there. Yeah, I mean, having a second, distillery for Lagg, it's good because not only you have expertise already, but like you can play with things that you're already like done in the other. But yeah, Lagg, I definitely feel like is much more free for experiment in the future too. So obviously right now we're focusing on building the core stock for our future ranges, but once that's like laid down, we can definitely look at doing a few weeks a year of something different and something fun for sure.
that'd be exciting. We'll have to get going and do a fun release.
Thank you. You need to come back. You need to come back with more time and let me know, and I'll drive you around both distilleries and I'll show you around.
Yes, to that. Like that's not even an empty promise. I'm gonna track you down and make sure it happens.
Anytime. Anytime.
That is recorded live. Yeah.
Mike, have you been to Arran? Have you been to the distilleries before?
I haven't. No, I haven't got that. I've been to Campbelltown and over at Arran a couple of times, but no, I haven't gone to Arran. It's something that we've always wanted to do, but trying to find the time between actually running the shop, and we have a pub as well in the family, so doing that, and it's but we've got a wee one now, so you met him earlier on in the green room, so some family holidays in the country are planned, so I'll make sure that she lets me go to Arran as part of that.
Please do let me know. Absolutely. Well, I don't know if I can sell it to you, but Arran is very family friendly. Has a great island for families. Yeah. Lots of activities that you can do. I mean, it seems quite tiny though. It seems quite young. So maybe you want to wait a little bit more so that he can just run around in a room while you go and taste some whiskeys. Just saying. But
I like the fact that he is not at that stage yet where I put him down and I can leave the room and go back.
Exactly.
I like that idea. I'm not sure about him having legs at work and run around.
It will sneak up on you when you least expect it.
Yeah, exactly. Talking of visiting Arran, Rick is asking on Facebook, Mariella, are the distilleries seeing any post-COVID trends in the number of visitors to Arran? I guess with Lagg, that's difficult to judge because you wouldn't have any pre-COVID trends for Lagg, or very little.
Actually, we didn't at all. We literally just opened and we got shut down immediately. So, yeah. That's a question for the visitor centers, I have to say. As far as I know, we're just as busy as we were pre-COVID and things are going well. It's not COVID, I think, the issue at the moment. If you know, I think the ferries are causing more, struggles these days than COVID. But the distilleries are doing great and we're doing fine in terms of visitors. I know pre-COVID on a good year, we used to get like 100,000 people walking into Locranza distillery alone, which was like great. I don't know numbers right now, but I know that we're busy though. Every time I try to go, every time I take a customer around and every time I try to book something, the guys are just like full up to year of like tourist tastings, lunches, the visitor center shops are always busy. So it's good to see that people are still coming over despite the difficulties, because we are open for business and we love obviously to see people. As you know, we always say our biggest assets are the distilleries itself. We're very blessed that we have shops and restaurants too and cafes, so they're like a destination. You can just go for a scone and a tea, you can go for a venison burger, you can go for a tour, a tasting, you can do it all. So there's lots of things that you can do to get literally busy for the whole day. So I think things are going well.
When I was over, it was really, really busy. I was speaking with Sarah, who works there. She looked after me. So hi, Sarah, if you're watching. But yeah, there's just people everywhere. But the best thing about the place was there was a wasp, and these wasps were driving the VCT mad. There's a special wasp cup and paper, and it's a plastic cup with a bit of paper with a wasp drawn on it. They're like, get the cup. So everybody's getting this bit of paper with this little wasp drawn on it, scooping this wasp up and releasing it back out into the great wild. It might be the same wasp that keeps coming back in, but I love that somebody's taking the effort to draw a wasp on this bit of paper for this special cup.
That is so
absolutely
sweet.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I haven't heard that. That's
beautiful
so
distillery. You'll have to go and have a look for the wasp cup.
To see little robins and little birds in the co-op in Brodick, in the bread section. I thought that was hilarious. I never walked into a supermarket before where birds were allowed to have like a little feast in the bakery section. I thought that was like brilliant. So Arran, what a magical place. Lots of animals around.
It is, and it really is Scotland in miniature. Like, just there's so many people on holidays there. Everyone's cycling, people are just wandering around. Like, it's just such a fun, wholesome kind of place. You can just see why folk go there every year. I think like a lot of people travel over from Glasgow, don't they? Because it's not too far away, really, I suppose.
Totally.
But,
yeah. I am based in Glasgow, and it's so easy. Like, you just either take the train or drive down, and it's like 45-50 minutes drive or 50 minutes train on the ferry, and you're there. Like, it's super, super easy. So very well accessible. Yeah.
You're making it me feel even worse for not being there now, because it's so easy to get to. Really got no excuse for not have been.
We have stags, we have red squirrels, seals, basking sharks in summertime, eagles. What else? Mini golf, 7 golf courses. The whole lot, standing stones, like King's Caves, like walks everywhere, mountains, waterfalls. So it just a tiny little magical place. Creameries, cheese shops, brewery.
Yeah, the added cheese is awesome. I love it, added cheese. Yeah,
very good.
Wine Island, and so much to offer.
It is, it's fantastic.
So if you're just tuning in, this is a whiskey chat. This is not a tourism chat for Arran, but
visit Arran.
My nephew is called Arran, so I always gift my brother a bottle of Arran whiskey every year for his birthday. Not for the child, for my brother. He's Arran's not getting the whiskey, but
he's old enough to buy his own whiskey.
Yeah, exactly.
So if not,
Amarone, by the way, just so you know, I'm drinking some of the Arran Amarone now.
Well, I saw you were onto that, so I've only got the one glass. I'm going to try and finish this first and get my bottle open.
No, I am on the Portwood, so I'm joining Frank from Germany. If he's still watching, Frank, if you're still on Slanjava, I'm joining you in that.
Prost.
That's the one.
If he's from Germany, Prost.
If not for Arran and Arran Distillers, what are you drinking? What do you look for in a whiskey? What kind of whiskeys do you go for?
First fill bourbon is where my happiness lives. I just love a bourbon cask.
We're destined to be best friends forever, Mariella.
I said it from this. I could feel it. I just had this. I had this feeling. I just knew. Half a Babs, first fill bourbon, and I like whiskeys. Let me rephrase. I like whiskey where the spirit kind of shines. And don't get me wrong, I love a sherry cask in the right scenario. I'll drink any whiskey, to be honest. I love almost anything. But if I had to choose, first fill bourbon, nice and young and and juicy and a bit tropical, like a bit sweet. I love. If there's a little bit of peat, even better. Otherwise, even just unpeated, I'll drink it any day. Second fill sherry and old. This is me being all snobby. I'm sorry. But second fill sherry, and maybe 2018 or something like that. It's fantastic. So that you just get the cask has just hugged the spirit for so many years, but just let it do its thing. And you can still taste the spirit so clearly. I love it. Somebody mentioned the 21. Russell mentioned the 21.
Russell, yeah.
That's the perfect example. Those are old casks, second for fill or not. they've made it to 21 years old, and now when you taste it, it's just lush. It's just like mango and frangipane and like almonds, and it's just so delicate but so beautiful. I love a spirit like that. So yeah, those are like my styles. In terms of distilleries, whatever friends and whiskey friends I have around, that's what I drink most of the time. But yeah, I tried. Whatever I see in a bar, whatever is new and exciting, I just go give it a try. I was in the pot still recently, and I was like, because it's very close to where I live, and I think I had like a Daft Mill because it was there. I was like, yeah, let's give it a try. An independent bottled Mortlach, an Arran that I never tried before. I like to try Kilchoman's, like, special Kilchoman's when they come out. I'm always a sucker for Isla. I'll drink anything. This is not a good answer. I'm sorry. I'll drink anything.
No, it's absolutely.
The pot still always has. Oh, sorry. Like, it's because my internet's so bad. I keep talking over you guys. I'm really sorry.
It's all right. You're just rude, Kat. That's all it is.
I'm British. I'm not rude. I was going to say, does the pot still not always have a special Kilchoman? Do they not, or was that just last year? Did they not have like their own Kilchoman that they took in?
I don't know, actually.
Check that. I'm a bit of a Kilchoman geek, and I'm sure the pot still had. I'm sure they had one. I'll double check that.
There is another.
Yes, Antea. We love Antea.
She's I was gonna say there's another Italian woman in Scotland, and it's funny that she also works for another like independent whiskey company. But she gave me a drop of the new 100% Isla, the Whiskey Fringe. Phenomenal, absolutely amazing stuff. Like it was like walking in a barley field. It was so barley, like it was just so malty, but so interesting. It reminded me of the Arran Bear Barley. I don't know if you ever tried it when it came out. Like it was a 10-year-old Bear Barley Arran, which was like insane. But yeah, like I like Kilchoman. I'm right there with you.
Right.
I hope Ante is also an Hufflepuff, and I hope she also likes First Bourbon whiskey, so that we start like a little club on the side.
Imagine. I think this is just a night out that needs to happen, to be honest.
Ante, if you're watching, please let us know if you're a Hufflepuff.
Yeah, we need to know if you're a Hufflepuff.
She has been known to watch, so I'm pretty sure she will be watching, maybe not live, but afterwards. We've got Ross Jolly in. Ross, hello, good evening. He's late because he was watching Aberdeen draw 2-2. Not a bad result away. They were over in Gothenburg. So he's saying hello to Mariella, and me and Kat get a mention as well in there. Thank you very much, Ross. Rick saying we all like exploring new spirit. There's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely true. And Willis is on Facebook, Maricela, can you ask us about the White Arran or the White Stags and the yearly get together as well?
Tell us about the White Stags and the yearly get together.
Mm-hmm.
So Arran White Stags, it's a community of Arran fans. And if you go on our website, arranwhiskey.com, you'll see there is a page just dedicated to them. And it's really just like a group of like friends and people that love Arran whiskeys, and they love like our distilleries now too. And as far as I know, this never happened, I think, since I joined, but there used to be like White Stags get together, like, for like the core White Stags fans, like tastings or meals or whatnot. I think since I joined, and also because of COVID, that kind of stops. But now, White Stags, especially like the core ones, are coming to the festival each year anyway. So that's their get together in a way, because there's always a White Stag dinner the day before the festival starts, or the Friday before, and we all dressed in white, and there are speeches, and we have like these beautiful 3-course meals, special whiskeys are served, there is like a charity raffle. It's always fun and it's always great. And that's when White Stags are like invited, and they come over to Arran, and we have a lovely evening together. And then the day after, when the festival happens, they're always around, and it just can I just be honest? It's just like very nice, kind whiskey people. You know, when you have like an image of like whiskey friends or whiskey pals, I see them now because I see them all the time, and I have them on my Facebook like as friends and Instagram or not. They literally meet up by themselves. Like it's so wonderful to see them traveling, like, you know, because they're from all over the place too. So there's somebody from Belgium, somebody from Sweden, somebody from Scotland, and you see them traveling to meet up to have like, you know, little like whiskey adventures together, which is like the sweetest thing. But at the end of the day, they're like Arran's biggest fan, and we couldn't be more like, you know, grateful to have like people supporting us like, you know, this much, and it's just lovely to see them every year and just follow them, like, you know, and just catch up every single time about their lives. Yeah, and it's free to join. Anybody can join. It's open to anybody. So if you want to join the West Tax, you can just go on our website, look it up. And if you want to come to our festival, to our dinner, or any other West Tag events, you get newsletters. So you're more than welcome to come and meet new friends.
Awesome. We have Derek who's watching on Facebook commenting there that it's a worldwide community. Certainly, I think that's a big thing that we get time and time again when we talk to people in the industry is that whiskey, although it's a worldwide global community, it's very small as well, and you come across the same people all the time, and it just does feel like that big family, doesn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, the friends I've made, imagine it's the same for you. The people I've met and the friends I've made just thanks to this job in the last 10 years have been like, they're like forever, you know? Like it's yeah, it's absolutely wild. One of my closest friends I met in Switzerland, he was working for another brand, like he lives in Germany, that's a completely different thing. And now it feels weird that I'm inviting him to my wedding, you know? I literally just met him at a whiskey show. And now we're like meeting up, and we've been friends like, you know, for like 5-6 years now. And it just, yeah, if you boil it down to what it was sharing a whiskey, sharing a good time, and then just becoming friends, and you know, you find your people, and just fantastic. It's a great community. It's cliche, but it's so true.
And we end up saying it every week though, don't we? Like it's just a really nice community to be part of. Everybody just wants to share and talk about a common interest, and there's no secrecy, there's no competition. It's just, yeah, you kind of do a favor for somebody and then they reciprocate, or people share drams. It's just, yeah,
that's
fun.
another thing. Brand ambassadors just being like, and sales managers and distillers and everybody just being friends with everybody. Like there's no such thing as competition, like, you know, when it just comes to being like, you know, decent human beings. Like, you know, we talked about Kilhomer, we talked about Auntie. I'm like, yeah, I just want the absolute best for like everybody else in the industry. Just the way
what I love about it is when you go to a festival or a tasting or whatever, you know, when there's lots of people, lots of stands, and maybe somebody would come to Arran and, oh, I've tried an Arran before, I wasn't too keen. You can say, well, we'll try, maybe you tried the 10, well, let's try the 18 or try the quarter cask or whatever. And they maybe say, well, no, I actually prefer this kind of whiskey. And everybody like, oh, well, you'll like Kilcoman.
Yeah.
Go and see Auntie at Kilcoman. She'll have something. And it's so easy just to take that pick, because it's, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's one person, and you losing one person doesn't mean that the distillery is going to collapse. You can see, well,
absolutely.
But here's somebody else that you will like, and that person would then think, well, what a great person Mariella is, because she wasn't offended I didn't like her whiskey. In fact, she put me onto somebody I do like. And I don't know any, not even any other spirit, but any other industry that is so open. You walk into a restaurant, and this is going back to what we started the chat almost on. You walk in and somebody's doing a steak the way you don't like it. The restaurants are going to say, oh, well, if you want a better steak, go to the restaurant up the street. It doesn't happen, you know. And I can't, you know, you go to a Ford dealership, they're not going to say, oh, you don't want a Ford, you want a Skoda. Go down there and get one of their cars. It just doesn't happen.
I think there is enough space, and in my head at least, there's enough space and demand and love for everybody in this industry. So sending a customer to another stand, and like, to me, it doesn't really, actually, I'm happy that I made that person happy, and hopefully one day you'll find an Arran somewhere and get surprised, you know, because at least he has a good memory, like, of the brand and the person. So yeah, absolutely, for
Exactly.
sure.
Yeah. We've got Ross commenting about the Arran Gold. Way too easy to drink. May even be my wife's first journey into whiskey. Arran Gold. It's beautiful. It's like the Scottish Baileys, isn't it? But better.
Thank you so much that you said that. I'll send you I'll wire you this money after the but no, absolutely. I mean, better than better than Baileys. We shouldn't say it, but it's a joke. It's a common joke. We all say it, even we shouldn't say it. But it's fantastic. I mean, Derek said it, lovely with coffee, absolutely, over ice cream. Sometimes I make tiramisu. My partner doesn't like coffee. I know, outrageous, but I use Arran Gold instead. So I literally dip the how do you call it, the Savoiardi in the Arran Gold, and then I put like shapes of like dark chocolate shavings, and I just make tiramisu like that. It's so versatile, but absolutely delicious. We sell so much at the distillery as well because it's just so good.
Yeah.
We always
it's that kind of cream liqueur, isn't it? People, I mean, we have quite a lot of people come into the shop looking for Baileys or it's just that's the name of it. People don't come in asking for a cream liqueur. It's just not a brand, is it? It's not a drink style. It's a Baileys. It's like Guinness and stout. People don't ask for a stout. They ask for Guinness.
Exactly.
And it's always the Arran Gold. It's like, well, we don't, but try this. And it is the tag. It's better than Baileys. Yeah. We have James online, Arran Gold in your coffee in the morning and on your ice cream in the afternoon. Absolutely. I'm going to jump back to Rick. I feel bad. I was actually tempted Rick to.
He asked 2 times by now. Sorry, I saw his message as well. I was like, at some point I should reply.
Yeah, third time lucky, Rick. We'll come back to you. So Rick is on. He's asked on YouTube and he's asked on Facebook. I was tempted just to let it ride out and see how many times he would ask, but it will come here. So Rick is asking, when will Lagg? It's maybe hit by now, but at the time that you've taken to answer this question, it's maybe hit America for you there. So can we expect to see more Lagg over in America?
So the answer is actually I do not know exactly when. I am going over in a couple of weeks' time, actually, in the US, and I don't think a Lagg is quite there yet, but it's the next thing. So I'm sorry I can tell you exactly when that's gonna happen, but it's obviously like in process of. So it's either I think the end of the year or the beginning of next year. Personally, I think I could be wrong, but normally it takes like a couple of months for once things are released in Scotland to just get over to the other side. But actually, Rick, while you were asking that question 4 times, I have actually also asked my colleague. So hopefully, if he checks his WhatsApp by the end of this Blether, I might be able to give you like a proper date. Otherwise, feel free to reach me personally on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you want, and I'll definitely let you know.
Awesome. I hope that answered your questions, Rick. I waited all that time for that answer. Yeah, but
there was a reason why I was ignoring it, Rick, in the first place.
Waiting for the WhatsApp to come through.
We might have a better answer by the end of the night, Rick. And as I said, Mariella, you might be able to get back on the chat afterwards and send Rick a message direct as well. Russell's got a great question. Funny that. So Russell, who's watching on YouTube, used to host the Blethers with us.
No, we didn't. It's all lies. What Russell? I don't even know what you're talking
about. So he's got a great question. What? Russell, who? Yeah, Russell. Can't remember his last. He's got to work with this a wee whiskey company somewhere up further north. He's asking if you have a favorite wine.
He's a Slytherin. He's definitely a Slytherin. Love you, Russell.
So Russell was asking if you have a favorite wine, and also he's snuck in 2 questions. Is there an Arran finish that you'd like to see, perhaps when it hasn't been out yet?
Yes and yes. So the first question, the first answer is
No, that's enough. That's fine. We don't. You don't have to go to specifics. Just yes and yes is fine.
Russell. What did you do, Russell? I would love to know what did you do.
He didn't do anything. We love you, Russell. We do love you, Russell.
No, absolutely. Favorite wine is I like Southern Italian wines. Surprise, surprise. I actually prefer like Sicilian or Pugliese from Puglia. So normally, if there is a Negramaro on the list, I'll go for a Negramaro. Otherwise, a Nero d'Avola. I absolutely adore. I just love Sicilian reds. I just love Sicilian reds. It's like my thing. Arran finish you like to see. I've been saying this for a while now. I'm sorry if I'm repetitive. I would love to see an Arran finished in Lagg casks. I would love to see an Arran finished in that is like, imagine like I have this dream of like this juice, because it's something that happened for real. A few years ago during lockdown, we bottled this single cask and it turned out to be peated, but it wasn't meant to be. So the liquid was definitely not peated, but a cask gave some extra flavors that weren't meant to be there. And it turned out an Arran 19-year-old that tasted like a Springbank. And since then, I cannot look back. So now, Ewan, if you're listening, if you're watching my interview today, I hope you're not, but if you are, please, if you could think about finishing a few Arran, I want to say 14, 15. That's when they get that juiciness. Like, that's when they get like all that tropical, juicy, like creamy, fantastic Arran at that age. And then just chuck it in a peated casks for a while and just let that dirtiness just like, take over just a little bit, so that you have like both scenarios. I would love to see something like that happen. So wine, we've done so many. I mean, rum, we do so many different things. I think even just like an Isla cask. Now we have Lagg, so I'm like, just get Arran in a Lagg cask and see what happens. If it's not nice, I'll buy the cask myself. Okay, I'll buy. I promise. It's okay. I'll buy it myself. It's okay.
We'll all chip in. We'll call it the Blether cask. We'll all chip in.
Yeah, we'll bottle it from the Inverurie whiskey shop. We call it the Mistake.
Yes.
We'll put our pieces on it.
The Mariella mistake. Yeah.
The Mariella mistake. One of many. So it's okay. We'll add it to the list. It's absolutely fine.
I just poured the 18-year-old and just
nice.
Now, which is sherry and bourbon, if I'm right.
Is that the latest batch?
It is it was. I'm looking for a date on the bottle actually.
It's very tiny. It's like engraved on glass. It's not very easy to see. I'm going backwards, Kat. Sorry, I'm tasting like your whiskeys, but backwards. Going forward.
I think that's all right. I think it's the previous one. I don't think it was, because I remember seeing the news release was a little bit lighter in color, wasn't it? This is the one before that, which is the darker.
Yeah, that's exactly the conversation we were having before. We got these super juicy first fill and second fill bourbon casks, and oh god, they were so good. And Stuart, our master distiller, our distillery manager, just said like, "Nah, I'm not destroying this with like first fill sherry because it's too good." And we made a conscious decision. We said liquid is fantastic. It's not as dark as it was before. It's not as sherry as it was before, but like it's just too good to be completely overpowered. So last year we released it and it was a little bit lighter, like you said. The previous whiskeys, the previous 18-year-old were all first, second, third fill sherry, hogsheads, pansions, bats, all put together, whatever we had left from like the 2000s, early 2000s.
Okay, cool. I think people are very. People are very hung up on color, aren't they? And they shouldn't be, should they? Really? It's hard to say. It's easy to say. It's hard to follow, I suppose. And there is that color aspect. We're like, ooh, look at that duck. It must be amazing. I think it'll take a long, long time and a lot of education for that to not be a thing, for people to look at a light whiskey with no colour and say, "Oh, that's going to be great." I just don't think it's possible. But
I think if you can, I do understand if you're buying a bottle. Like, I mean, I am a buyer. Like, you know, I am a whiskey drinker too, so I get it. Like, you know, you expect certain. You have, like, you know, an expectation. You know, especially if every batch has been the same or similar year after year. I just like to kindly remind people we're still like a relatively young company with not that much old stock, like, you know, around that we can just pick and choose, like, you know, like the big guys do. And sometimes you just need to make decisions that are good also for like the future of the company. And we just need to literally look at the liquid that we have and just make the most out of it. We pledge to focus on quality with everything we do, everything we bottle, unfiltered, uncolored, like, you know, cask strength, 46%. We just try to just to bottle the best liquid that we can every single time. But yeah, like color for us, especially as a like, you know, a natural color whiskey range, like, you know, for us, color, you know, it is what it is. We can't control it. And if we use bourbon cask because they're super juicy and they're super beautiful, I hope that people have a chance to try it first so that they actually realize that there's much more to our 18-year-old than just a sherry bomb. Like, you know, it's also like fantastic liquid. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Kat, were you going to ask something before we went into the colour?
No, it's just what Mariella was saying about 14, 15 being like the sort of peak of perfection. I think somebody asked something about a 14-year-old Arran further up.
Derek.
And it just reminded me.
Derek asked, so 3 kind of age-related questions. Derek is asking, is the 14-year-old coming back? I remember the 14. I remember what good whiskey it was. Yeah. It's kind of up there for me in the Scapa 16 and the Anik 16 kind of bracket of these kind of mythologically excellent ones. And James is also...
Can I chuck the Lewin like 14 in that mix as well? That's my mythological creature that nobody talks about. That is like a little...
I think this might be our 4 Harry Potter houses. I think we've got our sorting, like our 4 Gryffindor.
Wait, isn't that a badger on the Lewin's like flora and fauna? Like,
yeah.
Yes, there is. We've done it. Oh my god!
Like, is there not an eagle on Arran as well? Is there a? So that could be the claw. There we go. J.K. Rowling, take a letter from me in the morning. I will be buying the rights to Harry Potter to put whiskey on.
That's amazing.
I can already see like the comments I'm gonna get from my colleagues after this. Like, can you not be a nerd for 5 minutes every day? And I'm like, no, I cannot stop being a nerd for 5 minutes.
No, you need to own that. Totally own that. Like, you're in good company for that.
Yeah, thanks, I'm glad. No, but yeah, going back to Derek and to you, Mike. The 14, it was fantastic. And I literally joined when he started disappearing. I think when I joined, it was still sort of around, but it wasn't. And in 2019, the truth is that because we started in the 90s as a small independent company, we also struggled like quite a lot, like, you know, throughout the years. And we have gaps in our warehouses. We've been very honest about this, like, you know, since forever. And those are the gaps. That's the gap. That's why when we released, like, you know, our whiskeys, we do 10, 18, 21. So every now and then, like, a single cask shows up that is maybe 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. But in reality, like, we're missing that stock. So now we're working to fill that stock so that in the future, hopefully soon, we will be able to bring back a 14-year-old or something middle range, like, you know, middle of the range, something. So that's what that's literally what we're working towards right now.
Awesome. It's and looking forward to seeing more stuff coming from Arran. James has also followed that up with the James Hamlet watching on Facebook. How long are we losing the 18 and 21 for? It's terrible news for Arran fans that these guys are they going to be lost for a period, or is it just going to be slowed down, maybe drip fed for us to keep stock going?
I don't know how much I can say.
Understandable.
Well, I think it's no news that there's not gonna be a 21 years old this year. I think everybody kind of knew. 18, all I can say is that there's gonna be something. That I'll leave it like that. I'll leave it at that. And 25, I'm pretty sure is still going ahead as normal. So that's hopefully I didn't lose my job with those 3 sentences. But yeah, that's what I have to say.
Very, very political, very
Very
expertly
pragmatic.
handled. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Dave Ferguson, who's watching on YouTube, has just finished the Arran 25-year-old.
Oh,
So
that's a treat.
we've got a bottle, Arran 20, it was a 1994, no, 95 single cask in the kind of hip flask shape.
Of course.
And we've still got about half a bottle left, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful whiskey.
The good old days where 95 single cask used to appear like that, like, just out of the blue. What were we thinking? I know. I love those too. I love those. I remember going into the distillery and seeing them on shelves, and I was like, oh, such good liquid. Such good. I was in Campbelltown for the Cadenheads, the Campbelltown Whiskey Festivals, but on Cadenheads Day. Yeah. And the guys at Cadenheads were so kind in, letting me sit at their Cadenheads tasting. And obviously the drums are all blind, right? So we tried the first whiskey. It was okay. It was nice. It was very old, but it was like, okay, nice. And then we tried the second whiskey and it was like superb. I was like, okay, this stuff is like good. And all of a sudden I could see the Cameron and he was looking at me weird. And I was like, oh, please don't tell me. And he was like, so this is a 1995 single cask Arran that we have in our warehouses. And I'm like, oh man, so good. Like such good liquid. When you get a good 95 cask is good 95 cask. That's all I'm saying. Somebody said, also, I think we're missing James. No, we're missing Rick again. He's asking if the White Stag community is only available to UK residents. The truth is, it's not. I think anybody can join. But when White Stag bottle releases come out, we won't be able to sell them to many countries. It's just the way it is. We sell to the UK. We send to the UK. We ship to the UK and other countries in Europe. But I don't think we will be able to send to the US.
Rick, you'll just have to come and visit more often. Or was that a Rick question? It was.
That was a Rick question. Yeah. And it
Rick,
wasn't that long ago.
No, it wasn't. It was like September. Was it September last year? No, March.
No, he was March this year.
March. Oh
March
my God, that wasn't that long ago.
It was still this year. Yeah. So Mariella, we run a Whisky Academy twice a year. So our next one is in 2 weeks' time, September and March, where we kind of celebrate Aberdeenshire as a whiskey region, and we get guys over and we do some behind the scenes tours. Nice. We visit some maltings, we do the cooperage, and just get kind of downright geeky with whiskey, which is pretty cool. It's good fun. So Rick, who has been asked some great questions, Willis, I'm not sure if Willis is still watching. He's David Muir, these kind of guys, and we've just built up this nice little community. So it'd be great to get you up to do a wee chat at one of them if we can.
Absolutely, maybe I would love to
plug you for March next year, perhaps. I think the distillery is a bit far for a visit, but
I can find excuses to come up. It's okay. I'll go visit some other people, or we'll make it work.
Visit a good quality Northeast distillery with floor maltings, for example. It would be a good excuse to come up.
If I know
a good one you could go to. Did you say it happens once a year?
Twice a year. It's a 1 week course, March and September, the first week of each month.
I see. Cool. Yeah, sure. We'll love to. What are you guys doing?
I mean, we focus on the Northeast. We focus on Aberdeenshire because, as you mentioned, the Lagg peat comes from a place, and I'm pretty sure it'll come from St Fergus, which is not far away from here. We produce so much great barley here, so for this year, without giving too much away, I know Dave and Willis are coming along. We have lined up one of our local farmers to do a chat on the barley over here. So, and I think it's something that we don't shout about. That is it's either going to be the Monday or the Thursday.
You know, I like barley. I'm quite keen to come and do that.
Well,
a little bit of a geek when it comes to barley.
But yeah, you would have loved the guys that we had on Saturday. But they're like 50% of them were farmers, barley growers. So they were telling Vicky at Glendronach the answers to her questions, and they were telling her, well, you should tell them this because this is what we do about spring barley and winter barley and all this. It was an education for everyone, and normally we're the ones doing the educating, but we were getting educated in barley.
Yeah.
It was great fun. Yeah.
I would love to learn more about barley, and I have to say, Maltsters is the place that like I never visited, like something that I would love to do, because we all go see distilleries. Not all of them also have like barley fields like right outside, right? So, and there's something different. Yeah, it's a different aspect of the industry, isn't it? When you actually talk to a farmer that does that, like for a living, there's lots to learn for sure.
Yeah, but they're like, I mean, you look at a farmer, you talk to them about barley, or her, and they're exactly the same as you go to a distillery and you talk to the stillman. They don't see it as anything special. They don't have this. It's a job, and they're like, they'll tell you, and they don't. You see them clicking halfway through the conversation when they're like,
I am losing. Sorry, I lost you there for a bit. I don't know if I froze, but you froze for me. Sorry.
No, I missed you there as well, Mike. I wonder if it's your internet, and I've just been assuming it's my internet all night.
Well, it might be me. It might be me. I did.
Yeah, I lost you there as well.
I was just saying how farmers are like stillmen, or blenders, or people in the whiskey industry, where you talk to them and they just don't understand the geekery that some people want to ask.
Totally. Yeah.
I
love it. I love it when you go. It happened to me once at Loch Lomond, the cooperage, when I was just talking to the guys. I was like, so what do you like to drink? Like, do you like to go for a drink? And he's like, yeah, vodka and Coke. That's my drink of choice. I was like, cool. I was like for them, it's like, this is my job. Like, I do it every day. I've been doing it all my life. Like, for me, it's like, oh my God, this is so cool. It really doesn't see it that way. It really sees us as very humble. This is what I do, and just moves on. And plenty of like stillmen and master blenders and farmers that have exactly the same attitude. They see these like open-eyed whiskey people just wanted to gather all the information while they just do their job every day. They're very, on a different frequency altogether. I see it with our stillmen too at the distillery. They're so chilled. They just do their job, so relaxed.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, fair enough.
It's fun, and it's just, you just see that kind of turning point, and like, so Duncan, who was the kind of farmer that stood out for me as the guy who really knew his stuff, and started asking questions, and he's like, why do you want to know this? What difference does it make to your life? And he's like, well, this is really interesting for us. I'm glad Kat didn't get her hands on it, because we would have been there all day. So it's going to be fun.
I'd have been straight into nitrogen content and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Right. So does your barley come from maltsters? Do you know which maltsters? Do you know where your barley is grown? Do you have that?
As far as I know, it's Montrose area, and it's Boar's Malt, the name of the maltsters.
Yeah.
These are the ones that we use. Variety-wise, at the moment, some Laureate, some Diablo, Sassy I've heard, but I haven't heard in a while. But I think mostly Laureate Diablo. That's what we're using.
The Diablo's growing in popularity, isn't it? It's become like a real player in the barley variant recently.
Yeah. I really I go every time I go to the distillery, I just ask because it changes all the time. So I try to stay up to date. I always worry that one or a stillman or like whereas guys are listening to this going, oh my god, she's getting everything wrong. So I always try to keep up to date with like what's happening in our distilleries because it does change very frequently. And these days it very much depends on what the maltsters have available, like for you. So we don't do our maltings, so we literally just get the malt straight from the mainland to the island, whatever we can get. So that's how it works for us.
Right. Well, we are very lucky that we have a distillery not too far away from us that does a bit of floor malting as well that we can go and see.
That's very nice.
What's the name of that distillery, Mike?
Are we having a drama? Are we going to have? So this is another part of the Blether Bingo, Mariella, where whenever anyone mentions Glengarry Distillery, which is our most local, we have to have a dram. So if you've got a wee dram in your glass, cheers.
I didn't even know that Glengarry did some floor maltings, so that's great to know. I didn't know.
They've just returned to it a couple of years ago. So 2021 they returned to floor maltings. So
great to know.
Yeah, that's really cool. They were one of the first to stop, and now they brought it back. So yeah, it's really, really cool. Direct firing and floor malting. You'll have to come up for a look.
Too. Wow.
Yes, yeah. Put back our directly fired wash stills. So come up for a look, and I'll take you around.
Well, that's a good excuse to come up then. Apart from seeing you guys, that's fantastic. I already have my day planned. Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get you in. Get in for and Russell. By the way, Fendt not the best tractor. Educate yourself.
I was wondering about that. I think we've got our new Russell. So Dave Fackerson's one of our customers who is joining us in the academy in a couple of weeks. I think like it's going to be 12 days if that. We start. Dave is asking what kind of tractor the farmer has and can he have a go. So Russell, we will still get people on a tractor photos, and it won't be, unfortunately, it won't be Russell joining us. That's a joke for the Whisky Academy guys. Rick,
I started having dreams of whiskey tastings on tractors. If I had a distillery with like a barley field,
how cool! That's what we could do. We could get people in the back of a trailer and being driven around in a tractor by a tractor having a dram. That would be cool.
This comes from a idea already taken, by the way. I'm totally stealing this from, I forgot the name of the guys that move casks up in Speyside. But during the Speyside Festival, you could have booked a tasting in a lorry truck so that you could feel, and you would stop at distilleries while casks were being loaded so that you would feel like a whiskey cask being moved from like one place to another, which is hilarious. Hilarious. And since then, like a new dream, on my list of things to do before I die, I'm like, and that's what I want to do before I die. I want to
They roll you off at the end as well.
Roll you down onto the big cushion.
So we can turn that into a tractor in a barley field and do that instead. I'm thinking like almost like pumpkin patch, like tractor. Like, you have you have a mini table on like the back of a tractor or something, like, being carried around, and you just go around the fields. Yeah. That'd be fun. Yep.
I've done that loads. It works. Like I worked on farms in the States for years, and we'd always use tractors as ways to like transporting people up the hill for like a shoot day or transporting people around for like an open farm day. Just put a trailer in the back, wee table. Yeah, sorted. We could easily do that. Let's do that one. And well done, Rick. Good choice. Glengarry for breakfast. I am with you on that one.
Yeah, he's having a Glengarry 12-year-old.
Cheers to that, Dave. Cheers to that, Rick. Oh, right. God, yes. Sorry. Yeah. Well done, Rick.
Yeah, you did. We mentioned it. Yeah. So
every time.
every time, yeah.
It's because Gwen Geary was always mentioned. The people assumed it was me. It was mentioning it, but I was like, no, honestly, watch back. It's not me mentioning it. So it was always something else that brought it up. So now whenever it's mentioned, it's become like a bit of a bingo moment.
I see. I like this.
But it's always worth a mention.
I wanted to get back to Derek because I saw his question about the signature releases. He said a while back, he said, what can you tell us about the signature releases, Marielle? Yeah, I just wanted to say it's very exciting that we finally have a limited edition series again. We did the Explorers series for a while. I don't know if you remember those in the tin boxes with the 4 cardinal points of the island with 4 different locations. Yeah, and now we're doing something completely different, which is called the Signature series, which is gonna be much more focused on different, like, ideas of like a spirit, different ideas of whiskey each time, and just something like to be enjoyed in the moment. We just want to bottle something that you just crack open and have a dram of, and like we said that before, people use the word investment so much these days, especially in the whiskey industry, and not always in the best way. And for once, we would like to try and release something which will make you invest in good quality time right now. So something that you just open, enjoy, share, and just have a good time with. So that's the idea behind the Signature series.
That's a cool idea.
I like that. Yeah. As you said, I had the Smugglers series as well, which was probably still to this day my favourite packaging for bottles of whiskey ever. I love it. For those who don't know, they came kind of like fake books, and the inside of the book was cut out. If you've seen the Shawshank Redemption, it's kind of like the wee hammer being cut out. Spoiler alert, by the way. The bottle of whiskey is in there.
It's not a book. It's not a book.
No, it's a box for whiskey. But brilliant packaging. Dave's asking when does it come out? This
I'm afraid I don't know top of my head. Sorry. I should know these things, shouldn't I? Should I be more prepared? It's just lately I've been so focused on like the travels that I have to do at the end of the year, and that I am a little bit lost with timings on where things are coming out. But just like I said to Rick, please do find me on social media, find me on Instagram, on Facebook. Please do ask me those questions, and I will find out for you and let you know an exact date. Sorry, I can't answer right now.
Awesome. Rick's just come up with another great question as well on YouTube and it's something I did kind of pencil in to ask, but I completely forgot. Was the braille on the labels?
Yeah,
it's genius. Who came up with that idea, and what exactly does the braille?
It was my boss. Yeah, I believe it was you, and I've heard this, and I've heard this once, and I hope I didn't make it up in my mind. But I believe it was him that said if he ever had a chance to rebrand a whiskey, like he had the chance to do with Arran, he would, do something to make it more accessible. And he had the idea to add braille to our labels. So that's
I'm not
what.
Sure
we decided.
But just under the single malt Scotch whiskey, it's raised braille there. So what does that say? Is that Arran single malt whiskey that it says on?
That's what it says. Yeah, it says Arran single malt. Yeah, and we tried the best also to make the label and the box as embossed as possible too. We went for a very tactile look, like a tactile feel with the rebrand. You can tell from the label, to be honest, like there's ripples all over and everything is like embossed. And there's also like water elements to the bottle, like there's ripples on the neck of the bottle, at the bottom of the bottle as well. It feels like water drops on your fingers. We decided to go for a very, very tactile bottle, very tactile design.
It's beautiful. Derek's saying it's for when you're blind drunk.
I have only heard that a billion times before, Derek, but it's still good every single time. Cheers to that.
Yeah. Does that come in their visitor center bingo when the tour guide goes around?
Yep. 100%.
Love it. Somebody had to say it, Derek. Cheers for bringing it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Cheers for that. Well done for being that person.
Mm. I've just poured the porter cask again. I've gone full circle. It's just such a good malt. The spirit is so flexible as well, and I guess that kind of opened it up to so many different kinds of wine casks, port cask, rum cask. It's not many distilleries get away with having such a wide flexibility, but I don't think I can't remember having a bad one yet, which is good. I'm not just saying that because you're on, but yeah, it's such a good whiskey. It's so popular and affordable as well. It's not ridiculously priced. It's not, it's just in that price point that people are looking for, which is awesome.
Oh, stop it, Mike! Stop it!
It must make your job so easy. Yeah, you just turn up.
To be honest, it is. Sometimes I'm like a broken record. I just say the same things over and over again. But it's Can I be honest? It is like I like obviously working with my colleagues, working for the company, but also when you have good liquid to back it up and like a good values, I feel like my job is pretty easy. And I talk a lot. I don't know if you noticed in the past 2 hours, I can talk forever and I'm very passionate about the things that I like. But yeah, sometimes I just need to pour a glass and just share a dram and, really, you don't really need to do much else, which is, it's good feedback for us too. So thank you so much for saying those kind of things. Thank you.
Absolutely. No, not at all. But Russell is saying not normally we don't allow footy chat. However, the Scudetto for Napoli has to be acknowledged. Are you Naples?
Cheers. Chin for Napoli. Forza Napoli. Sempre.
We'll raise a glass to Napoli, yeah. I mean, that was last year. I mean, come on, we're over that now, surely.
No, we're not. We're not over that. We are not over that. Absolutely not over that. No, I have the most football focused family, which obviously Italians. I mean, I don't know what would you expect. I mean, obviously, but also my brother works in football, so it's like double, the craziness of it. And obviously, just like you, Kat said, because my brother is into football so much, I try to be not at all, because I am the little sister that doesn't want to conform to what the family is into. But I get thrown into the mix anyway because I'm Napolitan and because, can I be honest, I'm happy for the town. I'm happy for the city. I'm happy from the guys, for the team, my brother, my family. I don't know, many people have been waiting for this for so long. And the whole of Southern Italy has been waiting for a Southern Italian team to win against Northern Italian team.
Because it's normally a Milan, Juventus kind of.
Yeah. Italy is very much.
But Napoli have always just been that. Yeah, so I'm just saying Napoli have always just kind of been in that kind of tier of, you've got your Milan teams, you've got Juventus, and then you have kind of Napoli, Parma for a long time, Lazio.
Yeah.
These kind of teams just underneath, never really challenge it. It's almost like Spain when you have Barcelona and Real Madrid, and then Atletico win, and it just breaks the norm. It was great to see.
No, for sure. And it's just, you should go, if you go to anywhere in Campania now, people are still smiling and crying. There's this buzz. We have I went home for a whole month in July and we have photos of these football players everywhere, cut out real size persons, in parks, in outside churches, outside squares, in the street. Everything is blue. We're absolutely the happiest people. You have no idea how much this means for so many people. So it's great. I don't do football, but I'm happy that my family is happy and all my friends are happy and everybody in Naples and Southern Italy get to celebrate a win for once, which is nice. So,
Yeah,
great.
that is nice. It's nice when it brings people together, isn't it? I don't know much about football, but that is nice when you have that sort of home team win for everybody.
Absolutely. I obviously support Italy when Italy plays, but we're not doing as great as we were doing before, but we're slowly getting there. I'm now trying to watch a bit of rugby, so you can give me all your jokes about Italian rugby teams as much as you want right now. I know I get them every single time. It's okay, but I like to go and watch a game from time to time, especially when Italy's playing. So it's nice.
Mm.
Do you know what though? Even though you're not good at rugby, like your team is fun to watch just for its own special reasons.
Thank you.
Because they're all pretty handsome, to be honest.
Rugby or Italy to rugby is like what Scotland was to football for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Can't be good at everything. People would hate you otherwise. You guys are good at food. You guys got a beautiful city to culture.
We can't be
football.
good at everything. We can't be good at everything,
exactly.
Right?
Like we would hate Italians if you're good at everything. So like, you have rugby as your one bad thing that, that's fine. It keeps it real. It keeps it real.
Yeah, exactly. Football, fashion, wine, food.
Yeah, I know, right?
History. I mean, you guys pretty much invented the empire.
Yeah. Art. No, you're right. I still hope one day. I still would love to go and see Scotland versus Italy at Murrayfield and feel like there's a genuine battle. You know what I mean? When it's like it's actually tight. Like it could go both ways. So I'm looking forward to that day too. But it's okay. I've learned the Scottish hymn. So now when I went with my boyfriend, I sang the Italian hymn. He was too shy to sing the Italian hymn, so I was the only weirdo singing out loud. And then when Flower of Scotland came on, I was like fully proud singing it out loud as well. So I was supporting both teams. So I was just happy.
That's the thing about rugby, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's a rugby feel, right? It's just that's how you're supposed to be. So yeah.
My dad's a Kiwi, and we would always go to see rugby in New Zealand stands, and I'd be like waving on for Scotland, but like nobody cares. It's all part of the fun of rugby. Like it's just
the beauty of rugby.
It is.
Yeah. Russell, Rick, you're right.
Back in those days, you put a sympathetic foot in the head and said,
"Oh, sorry."
I know we're all talking about each other. Our influence.
Yeah, it's the lag. The lag is true. I was going to ask. We're talking about Italy being fantastic at everything bar rugby. Is there a Italian whiskey scene? Is there something brewing under there? And what kind of names should we be looking out for in that?
You do have a distillery out there, don't you?
Yeah, Puni is the one that has like more than one whiskey release and is kind of the more like well known out there. Is Puni, Puni, and it's in northern Italy. Beautiful. Google it. Like it's very unique. Like the distillery, like the actual site, is very unique. I like their bourbon casks. Obviously, like versions of whiskeys. But I know that they do like a few quirky things with wine. I've seen some sherry. I haven't tried them in a while, so I'm gonna look for them in Milan at Whiskey Festival in Milan this year, just so that I actually go there and taste their whiskeys. Now they're not very old, of course, but what people don't realize is that Italy has a long history with whiskey, but not producing it. Actually, purchasing casks and bottling casks for the Italian market and getting them like here, like in Italy, when in Scotland nobody really cared that much, or nobody really bottled whiskey.
Yeah.
Especially like the 70s, the 80s, we had so many good casks and so many famous independent bottlers. Amaroli is the most famous of them all, but there are like so many other. If you think about Giorgio D'Ambrosio, and now the tradition, the how that has evolved into so many new independent bottlers in Italy as well. We have quite a few right now, that it started back in, like, in the days in 40, 50 years ago. So I always find it quite funny when people say, oh, Italy whiskey, not really. But I'm like, actually, a lot. If you go on whiskey auctions and you see old bottles of Macallan's, old bottles of like Lafroig, Ardbeg, like these big, big guys, they all have the Italian stamp on them, because at some point they either like went to Italy or they were bottled just for Italy. So it's like, it's much more than just a distillery. But I think it took us a while to catch up to the production bit, but we're getting there as well. So it's like, I don't want to say like Sweden, but it's like a European market that is slowly like getting more and more whiskey distilleries, like, trying different things. So I think in the next 5 or 6 years we'll see many more different whiskeys coming out of Italy too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean Italy's quite a big. Is it Glen Grant? Is the big, the 5-year-old is massive in Italy. Because Glen Grant's owned by Campari.
That's why, yeah. It's because it's Italian owned, so
yeah,
it does well. Yeah, does very well. But yeah, if you like Italy and you like whiskey, you should come to Whiskey Festival Milano in December. It's the first weekend of December, which I imagine is like already like busy Christmas shopping like time for you guys here. So I imagine it's not a good time. But it's a great show, and you get to see many Italian people that are very passionate about whiskey coming to have like a very good time. It's very different from Scottish festivals. You will laugh. We have like pizza stations where you can get like a slice of pizza, like, while you, like, so that you,
cool.
you eat a lot of carbs, to keep soberish for like the rest of the day. We have like bars, so everybody stops for coffees, and a little like sandwich for lunch, where people with like Parmesan cheese wheels. So when you go to their stand, you can have like a bit of like Parmesan while you drink your whiskey. It doesn't get more Italian than that, I'll tell you. Very Italian.
I love that.
I love it too.
Pineapple on the pizza.
No pineapple on the pizza. Yeah.
No pineapple. It's the last time I mentioned pineapple.
It's okay. I use it as a joke in most countries because it's just fun, especially because people that don't know that I'm from Naples, so they really love to tell me how much they love pineapple on pizza. I had friends before just ordering a pineapple on pizza and getting it delivered to a bar just to piss me off, so it's okay.
That's the sort of friends you need.
That's exactly. I should ask questions, like, really ask myself some questions here, but yeah. My favorite is the Burns Night pizzas that show up all of a sudden in supermarkets come January with all the haggis on top. It's so sweet. It's so cute.
I like the fact that Scottish people can like shoehorn haggis. Yeah, haggis, just get haggis pakoras. Like, if we just like, oh yeah, haggis, we put it in any world food.
I might lose my passport for this, but I have made haggis bolognese before.
Oh, wow.
Leftover haggis, and I was like, yeah, we'll just chuck it in with some carrots and like celery or finely chopped, like, with tomato sauce. It was great. It was absolutely great. It was very tasty. So I was like, yeah, why not?
I wonder what haggis tortilla wraps would taste like.
Haggis tortilla. Well, I would give it a go.
We could try that. Yeah.
I'll eat anything. Once.
That's like the Scottish cooking culture is using up leftovers pretty much. So like, we can put haggis into anything. It'll be fine.
Right,
Give it a go.
Just need to catch them first.
Well, that's true. You do need to catch them first. Yeah.
Stop it. Right. I know where you're going with this.
You've never seen a haggis.
First rodeo, okay? I have been told that story many times before.
Oh no, a haggis rodeo is a completely different day out. You'll have to
But we'll get that in the next academy as well, yeah.
That's a day out.
Oh, that's a tangent we don't want to go down.
No, definitely not. I think, did we catch up on these questions? I think we did, didn't we?
We did, I think. I'm guessing Russell has mentioned hip flask dram. I'm going to guess that he's asking Mariella, what would your hip flask dram be?
I do have a hip
just
flask
for
dram.
to avoid to avoid favoritism, you're not allowed to use any of the Arran Distilleries.
No, it's okay. I actually have a hip flask dram. It's one of those like never-ending. I just keep topping it up with other things.
Like an infinity dram.
It's an infinity. That's what I have. An infinity hip flask dram. That's what I have.
Oh, nice.
Which is it started with the Longmore 92 that I opened for my birthday, and then it's been topped up with all sorts of stuff. So now it's like a bit of Glen Scotia in there. There's a bit of like everything, and it's delicious. It's
absolutely literally just blow my mind there.
I know. I love that idea. I don't know anybody else that's done that. That is fantastic.
It's because I never really finish it. So when we go...
Oh, I never have that problem.
When we go for like hikes or walks or whatnot, or just when I have my hip flask in my bag. I did it on purpose. I bought like one of those cute like tweed hip flasks with the caps on top. So
so you can pour the wee dry.
Yeah, I've done it for my birthday, and then I just kept topping it up. There is some Arran 18 in there. I had like this much left over, just top it up. But no, I have to say though, I do have like, if I had to choose one hip flask dram, and by hip flask dram I mean I'm wild camping somewhere beautiful in Scotland. It's cold and rainy, most likely. Most likely, it's like wet and cold, and I want something like
circle here.
Yeah, and I want like something. I want like a cast strength. Campbelltown is my go-to. You want something a little bit dirty, like you want something that kind of like clicks with the location, like and the environment around you. I remember once I had a Glen Scotia SNWS. It was called Italian chestnut cake. That's the only reason why I bought it. And it was delicious. It was like so warm and almost like meaty a little bit, but it has this darkness, like, going through it. I love a Glen Scotia. So yeah, let's just go with a Campbelltown. But just to put it on brand, I actually think that Lagg is a very good hip flask dram for that reason as well, because they have that grassy dirtiness too. So when I taste Lagg, it brings me back to like, walking up a hill on a semi like Drick day sort of idea. So yeah. What about you guys? What is your hip flask dram?
Well, that's a difficult one, because whenever I go up in whenever I go up in my row, I always take a different whiskey with me. So I don't actually have an official. I don't even have an official dram. It's like I used to bag my rows with the ex-husband. Whenever we went up to the top, we would always take a different whiskey with us, and it's usually one that would link in roughly to where we were. So I don't think I have an official one. I'm gonna have to work one out. I like your idea of an infinity flask, so I might start that one.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
I would probably. I think I would go Glendronach for a hip flask for a wedding or something like that. Because it's something that goes down really well. For hill walking, I tend to do something just a little bit more mainstream. Like I know the last kind of walks I did, I took Jura up, and I just quite enjoy that. I don't want to say basic element, but something that you can just sit back and enjoy, and just enjoy the whiskey. It doesn't have to be a star. It's just something
easy drinking.
Enjoy, rather than going that. Maybe when we get back to the pub afterwards, I'll have something a bit more kind of reward deserving. But it's just something. So last time it was Jura. I've had an Anna Cup, many a hill. I just like that. Something just it's quick and easy, and it's not the star of the show. It's just something that a compliment at the moment.
Yeah,
that's what I like that.
For me, it has to have a bit of darkness to it, either being some grassiness or some peatiness or something. I don't know if it's because I'm not from here, so I always associate like rural, like wild, like sort of like landscape with a bit of peat smoke, because it's very unusual for me. while I will have like a Glendronach, maybe an Italian, like, Christmas time, or like, something like that. But yeah, something lightly peated or a little bit dirty, or like rich, like strong, like a Mortlach or Linkwood or something like that.
Awesome. I'm just going to say cheerio to Rick. Rick's got to run. He must be starting work soon. So
see you later, Rick.
Go.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you for joining us, Rick, on Facebook and on YouTube.
That's his evil twin on YouTube, because we get 2 Ricks every week.
I wonder how many bets he won this week. I
wonder.
And we've got Rachel jumping in. So Rachel is Russell's wife.
Mrs. Russell. Hi, Rachel.
Who says pineapple should be banned on pizza.
I know, right, Rachel? Like, yeah, with you on that.
We just created a wee domestic live online there. Well.
Yeah. Good luck there, Russell.
Well,
your wife's got good taste. Your wife's got good taste, Russell.
We all know Rachel is the cook in the house as well. So.
I know. Yeah. You're a lucky man.
Mariella, it's been. I'm just going to highlight Rick's farewell there when he says Mariella is super knowledgeable and a delight. It has been an absolute delight to chat to you and get to know you a little bit better. I feel like we've met. I feel like we've become friends over the last 2 hours. I can't wait to.
Welcome back whenever you like.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Are you up at the Distilled in Speyside? Are you up in Elgin?
I'm not up in Elgin this year. I didn't get what you said. Did you say Spirit of Speyside?
Yeah, the Distilled event is next weekend.
Distilled? No, sorry, no, I won't be there. But yeah, I'll be up in Aberdeen-ish. No, in Aberdeen actually. The end of September. So I will try. I'll try. I hope I'm coming by car if I manage. So that I'll come and say hi to you guys and just walk into the door with a pineapple pizza for you to enjoy for lunch. Otherwise, I just second what you said. I very much feel like I know you now, so it's been nice to get to know you properly and to chat to you today. Thank you for having me. I hope we meet in person soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
And please do get in touch with Kat about a wee trip to that most wonderful, famous distillery in the Northeast.
Yes.
Please, I've heard of it.
Yeah, come visit me in Glengarry. Stay on the chat at the end, and we'll catch up. We'll say goodbye to all the guys, and we'll stay on for 5 minutes. We'll catch up with you.
Perfect. Thank you, and thank you for all the people that have tuned in. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a tremendous return to the Blether. Thoroughly missed it. And
thank you so much, guys.
Hopefully you guys missed it. Hopefully you've enjoyed tonight as much as we have. It's been really good to catch up with all of you. Great to see that you've tuned in. And we will hopefully see you all, if not next week, before then, pop into the shop and see us. Do we have a guest lined up for next week, Kat?
We did, but leave that with me. We've had a slight last minute change of plans, but
I love a cliffhanger.
It's what happens when people are busy in the world of whiskey, I'm afraid. Diaries clash, but I am working on finding a replacement as soon as I can.
So what are you up to next week, Mariella, just in case we want to do a part two?
I'm going to Arran, actually. I'm going to Arran over the weekend.
Oh, good.
If you need me to.
We'll do one live from the distillery. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. I know. I will. I'm on it, guys. I'm on it. I'm trying my best.
So guys, watch out for the Facebook posts and the YouTube. We will let you know as soon as we can who our replacement guest is. Have a great night. Have a great weekend, guys. Thank you so much for joining. The questions have been great. We will see you next week. Who with? Who knows?
Miss you.
All right, Slanjava. And thank you very much for coming along.
See you next time.